Hey friends, welcome back to Pretty Extra. I'm your host Amanda Saez, and today we are in a little bit of a different environment. So you're probably wondering where I'm at. I am actually in my home that I grew up in New Jersey. I'm here for a month and I have been hibernating. Like, I'm not even kidding. I come here to decompress. I love just coming home for like a few weeks. The first week, I will literally, I'm not even kidding, I will sleep for the whole week. I relax. I let go of all of my stress from taking care of myself. And then once I get over that, I can now, for the second week, go and hang out with friends, be with my family, and do all of that stuff. And then after that, I'm actually going to hit up New York Fashion Week. So I am super excited for that. I am here and it just feels so nostalgic and comfortable. You know, people always wonder, why did you move if you really love it in New Jersey and like you really love your home there? And you know, when I decided to move, it was just the most random thing ever. Like, I'm not even kidding. The way that I made the decision to move was so random. You know, I love New Jersey. I hate the winters. I just hate winter in general. Like, I literally get winter depression. When it's too gloomy outside and it's snowing every day, I can't go outside. Like, I literally become depressed. I've been like that since I was a child. And as I grew older, I just realized and accepted that. So I finished my bachelor's degree and I was in my master's program. I was teaching students and everything. I was an assistant professor. And I was in a long-term relationship at the time, and we were actually looking to buy a house together. As I'm looking at these houses with him, I started getting cold feet. Not because I was moving in with him, but more because I was like, what am I going to do here? Like, for the rest of my life in New Jersey? Like, I'm serious. I did not see myself growing as a person or like an individual here. Like, I was like, where do I see myself in 10, 20 years here? Like, what, driving like an hour into New York every single day, like there and back, if not more? Or like, I don't know, like, what am I going to do? Like, it's so boring. It's relaxing. I love it here. But like, what am I going to like accomplish here? And I just started like panicking. I'm not even kidding. I'm literally not. So I was like, okay, I do not want to buy property here. So I decided that I needed to move somewhere like far away, like a different city. I've never liked New York, even though I was born in New York. I just did not want to live there. So that was just like never on my options list. But my first option was Los Angeles. And that's because one of my best friends back then, who unfortunately passed away, he had just moved to Los Angeles and he loved it. And he was like, Amanda, you have to come visit me. So I did. And we planned to go to Coachella together. And I was so excited. Silly, stupid, young me. And I say that like, you know, joking around. But like, I also was really stupid. I packed for this trip to California thinking, oh, California is like sunny and it's warm all the time. Like, people love the weather there. I did not think that California gets cold, and I never checked the weather like before I left. So I packed all summer clothes. What was that for? I land and I get off the plane and it's literally like maybe like 58 to like 63 degrees. I was so pissed. Like, you have no idea, because I hate the cold. I had to buy all new clothes because I literally brought like crop tops, like festival outfits. And we went all over God's creation in California. Like, we went to like Malibu, Santa Monica, wherever that place is, like Indio, California, where the festival is for Coachella. We went like to a lot of places. And the only day that it was actually like hot was one of the days at Coachella. Every other day it was freezing, like absolutely cold. So after that trip, I decided that I did not want to move to Los Angeles. I was like, this is not for me. It's not the vibe. I want somewhere that is warmer. So then I was like, where is the next state that I could think of that would be warmer? And then I was like, Florida. So I started looking at the map of Florida and I thought Orlando, because Orlando is like pretty affordable. And then I was like, I don't think so, because it's not like on the beach. And I wanted to be on the beach. Like if I'm going to be living in Florida, I want to be on the beach. So then I started looking at like Clearwater, Tampa area. And I thought to myself, well, if I'm going to be like on one of like the coasts of Florida, I want to be able to just easily get on a cruise and go to the islands, which like I still have not done after living in Miami for 5 years. But I just was thinking that while I lived here. And so that was my mindset. So then I started looking at the Keys. And back then, 5 years ago, the Keys was like so expensive, like ridiculously expensive. And the homes were like so old, like they looked terrible. So I was like, I think I'll pass on that. And then the next place that I looked at was Miami. And when I saw Miami, I was like, oh my God, this is so modern. This is so beautiful. I was like in love. It was love at first sight. And I told my ex back then, I was like, oh my God, we have to move here. And he was like, absolutely not. I'm not going there. And I was like, well, I'm going without you then. And like, I was dead serious. I was like, I need to move to Miami. Like, do you not see how gorgeous this is? I do not see myself living in New Jersey for the rest of my life. And like, mind you, I did not know anything about Miami back then. I did not know anything about influencing. I did not know the culture of Miami. To me, it just looked like this gorgeous paradise vacation. Like it looked basically like if you looked at like Turks and Caicos and like you were like, oh my God, I want to live there. Like that's what it looked like to me. I was like, I'll feel like I'm on vacation every single day. Delusional Amanda. So yeah, that was my mindset back then. Now I know what it's like. I didn't understand like clubbing and all that kind of stuff. Like I was very naive. I booked a trip to go to Miami to make sure that like what happened in LA did not happen in Miami and that I actually liked it. And I went and I loved it. I was like, this is the place that I'm going to live. Like this is home. My ex then changed his mind. He was like, oh, I want to live here. So I ended up finding a condo on the beach. It was a studio and it was $1,900 a month. You would think that's like expensive, especially back then. But that same condo now is like $3,500 a month. And that is insanity. It's literally like just a room on the ocean. That's it. Back then, I thought it was like no big deal for $1,900 because I was like, I already stay in my room like all day anyway. So like $1,900 to have a room on the ocean, like, okay, I don't have any kids. I don't have any pets. Like that was like amazing for me. Now, especially like $3,500, absolutely not. So like my most current condo that me and my boyfriend had now, that was like $3,850, I think, per month. And I mean, that's a lot, but it was a 2-bedroom, 2-bath with a den. Like it was huge. It was like 10 minutes from the beach, which is why it was that price. And it had a spa, like basketball court, like everything was gorgeous. So you get more for your money. But like a studio for $3,500, like no. So anyways, back to my story. I ended up finding this apartment, that studio on the beach for $1,900. And I was like, this is my dream apartment. I have to have it. I got approved for it. And I told my boss at my retail job that I needed to transfer my job to Miami because I was moving to Miami in 3 weeks. And he was like, what? He was like so confused. He was like, this is so random. Like, how did you just decide to move to Miami in 3 weeks? And I was like, I'm moving to Miami in 3 weeks. And he was like, okay. And he was just so confused because like I had been saying to myself for a whole year and to like my parents and some of my closest friends that I was going to move to Miami, but no one believed me. Literally not one single person believed me. They're like, no, you're not. You're not going to move. And if you do, you're going to move back to New Jersey because Miami's ghetto and Miami's gross and like you're just not going to like it. And I was like, yeah, whatever. And guess what? Now everyone wants to live in Miami and I never went back. I never went back and I never will. So I had gotten approved for the apartment. I left within 3 weeks. My parents were absolutely shocked. They were crying hysterically, pissed off. And I was like, peace. I moved and then the shutdown happened. And that was crazy because that was something that I did not expect at all. Like, not at all. Because of that shutdown, I was not able to see my family for about a year and a half or two because I also got sick for 4 months, and then my parents were high risk, so I was too scared to travel to them. So yeah, that was one thing that was probably the hardest thing for me as far as moving. Then I ended up being in the condo alone because I went through a really terrible breakup, which if you guys want to hear about that, I would talk about it in a completely different podcast because that is one heck of a story that just needs an episode of its own. Because of all that stuff, I did not start making friends. I mean, I made 2 friends about a year and a half after I had moved, but I didn't start making like a whole big friend group until about, I don't know, like 4 years, literally about it like a year ago. So that was really challenging for me because I always felt pretty alone. And it was really honestly just like sad because I had so many of my good friends here in New Jersey and I was only coming here like 2-3 times a year. And then I'll go back to Miami and I was just like alone all the time. It was just depressing. But I feel like I have really found my friend group since moving to Miami. Like it was worth the wait because like the quality of people that I have made friends with is like absolutely amazing. So yeah, I can't say that I regret leaving my hometown for Miami, and I will probably never come back other than visiting and hibernating for a bit and relaxing. This is like, now it feels like my vacation home here in New Jersey. That probably sounds weird to most people, but it is. You know, moving to Miami has really helped me grow and change as a person. I can't even explain, you know, if I would have stayed in New Jersey, I can't even imagine what my life would have been like. You know, I think I would have still been happy and like had a good life because I wouldn't have had known any better, but I would not even have anything close to the life that I'm living right now. I wouldn't have any of the opportunities that I have right now because like where I live in New Jersey, it's, you know, the middle of nowhere. There's like just like farmland, like the closest mall is like 45 minutes away. So if I am trying to meet people like in the industry that I'm in, it would be very, very difficult. I could try New York City, but even in New York, it's just different. The best places for me are like Miami and LA. Like if I were to move somewhere else, even though I don't love LA, I would probably move to LA. But if I didn't have to do anything at all with my life and I could just move anywhere, it would actually be Las Vegas because I lived there for about a year and a half. And oh my God, I love Las Vegas. It is so beautiful there. So many people like, they either hate it or they love it. I found it so gorgeous and like peaceful. Don't ask me why. I mean, it was so nice because like I lived right on the strip. And so I got to go down and just walk to any restaurant, walk to the mall. When I was in the condo, I got to overlook like the mountains and it was like so relaxing. It was so quiet up there. I could go to any show, like any concert. It was just so much fun, but also like relaxing. I don't know. I just loved it so much there. In general, I actually love a lot of those states out there like Nevada, Arizona, Utah, Colorado. Those are some pretty beautiful, beautiful states. And if I could literally do absolutely nothing with my life, I would probably move over there. You know, the funny thing about me moving to Miami is I actually considered going to college in Miami. I was looking at the University of Miami before like living in Miami was even like a thought. I had just considered it and I don't even know why. But I decided to go the cheapest route possible when it came to college. I was fortunate enough that my parents were willing and able to pay for me to go to community college. It was like $3,000 a semester. I wanted to be in the least amount of debt as possible. I had a lot of friends that were in like $200,000 in debt out of college. And I was like, that is not going to be me. When I get out of college, I can always move somewhere that's what I did. And a lot of my friends, they've had to stay living at home because like they can't find jobs doing what they went to school for, or it's just not high paying enough. And, you know, getting out of school with that much debt is just insanity. Like, it's not even fair. I tried to be smart about it and only have to pay for 2 years of university schooling. So when I went to Rutgers, since I was in state and I was commuting, it was only $14,000 a year back then. I don't know about now. Now it's probably more expensive. But if I would have dormed, it probably would have been like at least $40,000 to $60,000. When I was looking at places that were out of state, it was like ridiculous, like $70,000. So yeah, and my master's program that I had started, I don't even remember how much that was, but it also was not that much money. I was pretty grateful that I did not come out of school with a lot of debt because, you know, while I was in college, I was working so much that I got out and I was like, okay, well, I have all this cash now. Like, where am I going to go now? And really, I should have just paid off my student loans, but I decided to move to Miami instead. And it wasn't the worst idea in the world, honestly. And people always ask me, they're like, do you wish that you would have went away to college? And the answer is no, not really. I don't regret it. When I was visiting colleges, I saw the way that a lot of the dorms were. And the ones at Rutgers, at least back then, I mean, they had some that were like brand new, but they didn't have air conditioning. I remember throughout some semesters, they had like roach infestations and like girls would be screaming in the middle of the night. And I know myself, like I'm an only child. I've never had to share anything. I'm not delusional. Like I know what I can and I can't put up with. Like I can barely deal with like a roommate. So like for me to have to share a bathroom with an entire floor, to have to deal with roaches, like you're paying a lot of money to deal with these kind of things. Like for that, I'll just like get my own apartment and go to school. That's probably the only way I could have like dormed is if I would have gotten my own apartment like 5 minutes from the school. But like I could not see myself actually dorming. That just would not work well for me. But you know, at least I could realize that. Some people will be like that and they'll go away to college and then they like freak out. Like me, I'm like, I know what I can and I can't put up with. So I don't want to stress out other people either. So I'm like, you know what? I'm better off staying at home or living by myself. And that's totally okay. Like that's what I do. I don't want to disturb anyone. I don't want to be screaming in the middle of the night. A lot of these colleges, their dorms like are literally like jail cells. So I feel like for the amount of money that you're paying for, like I came from a gorgeous house like in New Jersey. It was literally like a 45-minute drive for me. Like that's really not that bad. So the amount of extra time, yeah, it was not the best, but 45 minutes to save a ton of money and I get to sleep at home in a nice home. And if I wanted to go party, like I made friends at school, like I could go do whatever I want. It wasn't like a huge deal. So now the significant changes that I've noticed since moving, I would say the most is the way that I eat. Like I'm so much more healthy since living in Miami. I actually work out. I don't eat junk food every single day. I'm not even kidding. I used to eat McDonald's, Burger King, Wendy's, all the fast food places. I used to eat that 2 and 3 times a day. It was disgusting. I was so unhealthy. I don't even know. It was so bad. Now I actually like salads. I love acai bowls, quinoa. I like vegetables. Like it's so weird how differently I eat since moving to Florida. But my taste buds also changed. Like before, you could not even pay me to eat a salad. Like I'm not even exaggerating. I despise salads. Now, like I actually crave salads. So I actually lost about 30 pounds since I moved out of my parents. It's insane because I am naturally like a pretty small person. But you know, like when someone's like skinny, but they're like out of shape, like that was me. Now, like you can't pinch an inch off of me. Like I am tiny. I have like no fat on me at all. People get concerned about me sometimes. Like, I've never seen you this skinny. And I'm like, it is what it is. And now whenever I do have fast food, because, there are moments when I'm in a pinch and I have to have fast food. It just like does not sit well with me. I do not digest it like I used to be able to. Sometimes I literally just, I'm like, So the one fast food place that I could never give up though is Popeyes. I love Popeyes. Like I could literally give up. I pretty much did give up Burger King. I used to love Burger King. I do not care for Burger King anymore. I could give up Taco Bell. I could give up McDonald's. I could even give up Chick-fil-A. But Popeyes is the love of my life. I cannot give up Popeyes. I have to have that at least like once or twice a month. It's just amazing. I love you, Popeyes. So you're probably wondering how I feel when I come home. Like, what feels like home to you? Is it Miami or is it New Jersey? Honestly, both feel like home. Miami feels like where I belong, if that makes sense. Like I feel like, oh, this is where I should be. I feel at home in the sense of like, this is where I belong. And when I'm at home, like in New Jersey, I feel like this is home. Like this is where I can be me and like relax, like in the most gross way possible. I don't have to do anything. You know what I mean? Like I don't have to literally like do anything. I could just like lay around all day and no one bothers me. So that's like the beauty of that. There's been so many changes in my hometown since I left. Of course, they decided to build literally like every single restaurant that I've been begging for, like Chipotle, Popeyes, like it's insanity. So now when I come home, I actually get really happy because I have places to go now around here. There's still no mall, but there are a lot more places compared to before I had moved. But no, I don't see myself ever moving back here. This is pretty much my vacation home, which probably sounds so weird to you guys, but it is. That's what it feels like to me, at least, because I do all of my work and everything in Miami, and then I come home and I'm just like, like I feel so at peace here. So for me, this is actually like a vacation. I have my mom who cooks for me. I have my bed. I have my TV. Like I have all of my things. Like, I don't know. It's just, it's home. Nothing will ever take that away from me. But I also think that it's super important to explore away from home, even if it's for 1, 2, 3 years, whether it's during college or after college, or even if you don't go to college. Like, I think it's just, you need to explore another city to really grow, and see what's out there, because you really never know what ways your life could change just by visiting other cities for a few months, a year, or 2 years. Like, I'm not even kidding. Like, you might go to a new town for like a year or two, and you might find someone who completely changes your life. Like, you might find someone who changes your career. You might meet new people who give you like a whole new perspective of life, and you might find new interests. You might meet a new person, like that's your new lover, like whether it's a boyfriend or girlfriend or whatever. Like, it's crazy where your life could take you just from being somewhere different. I think that my experiences away from home have influenced my future plans in so many ways. I always grew up in this sense of like, I have this particular plan and I'm so stuck with it. Like, I'm going to do this, this, and that by this date, and nothing ends up going to plan. At least for me, it didn't. And I was convinced that it would. My life ended up changing in ways that I never imagined. And some of it was due to me, and some of it, I would say the majority of it, was due to things that I could not control. And when things happen to you that you cannot control, that change your life, sometimes you might look at it as like a horrible thing, but in reality, like, it's actually really taking you somewhere to something way, way better. For instance, the terrible breakup that I went through, I thought that I would like literally never recover. It's crazy because I would have never imagined the life that I have now or the things that I'm doing now. And I don't think that I would have ever been doing any of this stuff if I were dating him. And now I'm dating someone who's absolutely amazing and supports everything that I do. And he's just incredible. And I love him to pieces. So the way your life changes, it might seem horrible at first, but it's really for the better most of the time. I just really wanted to say that because so many terrible things had happened to me over the last 5 years. And just seeing how my life had changed, it was insanity. And I always hated change. Like, I hated it. I always liked everything to stay the same. I liked everything being very predictable. And now I pretty much just welcome change. Like, for me, change is no big deal. I'm used to it. And I expect change to happen. And I expect it to pretty much come at any given time because that's just how my life has become. And that's okay. I can't expect for everything to stay the same. And my life would probably be boring if it did. So I'm actually grateful for the change. Now, any advice that I have for people who want to move out of your hometown, if you can, stay at home with your parents for as long as you can. Don't waste your money on stupid things that you don't need or like buying too much drinks or food. Like, I would get my paycheck and I would only keep $75 to $100 in my checking account, and the rest of the money that I made, I would put in my savings account, and I wouldn't even look at it. So I would literally just ignore my savings account, and eventually it would just keep growing and growing and growing. And I was only allowed to spend the $75 or $100 that was in my checking account. Now, if I knew that I was going somewhere that I like needed more money, like I allowed myself to have that. Like if I was going to like a concert or something, I was like, oh, I need more money, then okay. But like, it's not like that every single day, you know? So just try to save up as much money as you can. You know, if you're not doing much, like get a second job, because you'd be amazed at how much money you could actually save just by doing all of that. And even if you like do like a side hobby, like photography, I did that. I was charging like very little money, but it ends up adding up and it helped me save to move out. I know that moving out nowadays is not as easy as it used to be. I mean, it wasn't ever easy, but everything is just so expensive now. So, you know, if you want to move out of your hometown, I recommend trying to find a roommate online. Unless if you have someone who you want to move in with that you could split the rent, you know, you could find places and pay like $1,000 a month, something like that. And, you know, if you have a few $1,000s saved, then you should be fine for a few months if you just get a job out there. And, you know, I basically just packed an entire car and I drove to Florida from New Jersey. Like, I did not care. I drove straight too. Like, I did not stop. I didn't stop at a hotel. Like, I'm not even kidding. I just drove straight there. The only time that I did stop was when I needed food or to go to the bathroom or to get gas. Other than that, I did not stop anywhere. I know what it's like to just pack everything that you feel like you need the most and then just drive. I just drove. I was like, I'm out of here and I am not coming back, at least to live. But I was coming back to see my family. If you can do that, it's very exciting. And if you have the support of your family, you could always come back home. I've had friends that have moved across the country and they didn't like it as much as they expected to. And they ended up going back home like after 2 years, and that's okay. Like, at least you tried it. You can make some friends and meet cool people and then just go back home. You're not like stuck there forever. But anyways, guys, thank you so much for listening. Thank you for dealing with me today with my bougie casual self. This is me in bougie casual. I'm literally like, I have my hair done, I have my makeup done, but I'm in sweats and like workout shorts because today was a little bit rainy and I had a migraine this morning. So I wasn't sure if I was going to record. I'm feeling a bit tired because I took my medicine. But I really wanted to record for you guys because I love you and you guys are amazing. I still did my makeup for you. I was not going to come on here with no makeup. So we're bougie casual today. And I love this hoodie. It is so cute. I don't know if you guys could see, but the back is pink and the rest is gray. I have matching sweatpants, but I didn't want to wear sweatpants today. So I'm just all cozy in my room. But yeah, thank you guys so much for listening. And until next time, bye.